No, this is not a Hollywood blockbuster. The planes crashing into these towers are real. And these buildings crashed to the ground, including one that wasn't hit by anything at all. The American population was terrorized, hypnotized, and traumatized by repetitive showings of the devastation, with the media repeating over and over that it was a terrorist attack.
Race don't matter, your faith don't matter, the enemy is government tyranny, all that other shit don't matter.
Northern California, we've got a bit of an unusual situation. Now, this first portion of the radar cycle fairly bland and typical, but then you see these bands of very distinct cloud cover moving into the region. That is not rain, that is not snow, believe it or not. Military aircraft flying through the region dropping chaff. Small bits of aluminum, sometimes it's made of plastic or even metallicized paper products, but it's used as an anti-radar issue, and obviously they're up there practicing. Now, they won't confirm that, but I was in the Marine Corps for many years, and I'll tell you right now, that's what it is.
Everybody, peace. If anyone's wondering, I'm just going to start this video off like this. A couple of my lives got taken down for a copyright strike, which don't make sense because maybe it could have been the music I played, but I doubt it. It was one of the good lives too, when I was showing architecture, and it's just it seems like sometimes I can't win. You know, my phone just broke to where this black stuff's starting to take over the whole screen. You know, just when I think I'm getting ahead, it's 100 steps backwards. But I don't give up. I'm a warrior. I'm gonna keep fighting and pushing forward. I just shouldn't let certain things bother me, but they do, because like I said, I'm trying to get ahead. And it's just so many obstacles that keep occurring as I carve my path in life. All these obstacles keep getting in my way, you know, but I just appreciate everybody that shows me love, subscribes to my channel, people who watch my videos and comment, man. I really appreciate it. You know, it helps me to push forward and to not give up and to keep, you know, trying to wake people up and to keep speaking and to keep interacting with people. And the StreamYard is something I've been wanting, and I finally get to have people on the panel and talk and really connect minds, man, and I also appreciate that. So I'm going to get into the video about geoengineering and the dying of trees and these ecosystems. As you can see here in this picture, they were spraying aerosol. You could go to geoengineeringwatch.org, and let's start. It says, if the trees die, we die. Whole ecosystems are collapsing all over the globe, or shall I say plane, and our rapidly dying trees are the most visible harbinger of what is unfolding. Now, I want to add in, about 7 years ago, maybe 8, I started to see in the skies what people call contrails, but they're really chemtrails, chemical trails left by aerosol spray. And you could look this up through the Air Force is doing it, or the military period, commercial jets, and you could also find the type of jets that have tanks in them that they fill up with these, you know, liquid aluminum, strontium, barium, lithium, you name it, man. They're spraying us like we're like it's a pesticide on roaches. But let me move on. Few seem to notice the die-off until it is pointed out to them. But once recognized, we can be seen. What can be seen is alarming. On a geological timescale, the human race has decimated planet Earth. Let's rephrase this. On a geological timescale, the human race has decimated Mother Earth in the blink of an eye. Though there are countless sources of anthropogenic damage to our planet, climate engineering stands out above all the rest combined. The list of environmentally devastating factors directly relating to the ongoing geoengineering programs is very long. Trees are succumbing to this onslaught, and the human race will follow if our species does not completely alter its current trajectory. Global geoengineering is completely disrupting the hydrological cycle, destroying the ozone layer, which is exposing all life on Earth to extreme UV radiation. Now, I don't know if I agree with UV radiation. I think sunlight is always needed. What's really killing these plants is what they're spraying. I don't think it has anything to do with UV radiation. But what do I know? Let's move on. And contaminating the entire surface of the planet with highly toxic bioavailable heavy metals and chemicals. Massive levels of radio frequency transmissions directly related to climate engineering are yet another layer of destruction, which is radically affecting the trees, us, and the biosphere as a whole. It is imperative to wake the masses to our common plight. All those who are already awake are needed to assist with the ongoing critically important campaign to awaken others. Arm yourself with critical data and pass it on. Make every day count in this battle. And there's a 10-minute video. 10-minute video shows firsthand how rapidly our forests are dying. If the trees die, we die. 90 responses. So these are people. You want to watch this video, everyone? Let's do it. Let's just say we're going to watch this 10-minute video.
So even though people feel how hot surfaces are in the sun, how intense the sun feels, they convince themselves it's all normal because the agencies don't tell them anything else is wrong. They assume they would be told if there was something wrong. This is a very naive notion. This is a manzanita bush, a juvenile, and you see how the tips of the new growth look like they've been hit with a torch. These most hardy species of brush, the manzanita plant, they're dying throughout the forest. Whole mature organisms 10 feet high are flashing out dead. This is an extremely hardy brush species. Looks like it's been hit with a torch.
I just gotta pause it for 1 second. He isn't BSing, because when I go outside, you could tell that they are spraying, because at the top of the trees is where it's more brown. And the closer you get to the ground, the lighter the brown gets. But even in the pure summertime, the trees ain't as dark green as they used to be. They're starting to be more brown. And there's weird, like, funguses growing on trees that are eating them up and killing them. And I don't know if that has to do with the spray or what, but there's a lot of stuff growing on trees that are killing them.
These are new juvenile leaves. You can see they already look like they've been hit with a torch as well. Several that are shaded right here. This small little batch of leaves maybe is slightly shaded. It's not curling up, looking fried yet. We've had 40+ inches of rain here in the last 2+ months. Has nothing to do with drought. This is an extremely hardy drought-resistant species. This is excessive UV Also, we have fungal issues happening with these plants now because the bioavailable metals kill soil microbes. That allows fungal proliferation. Of the 200 species of plant and animal a day that we are losing to extinction, 70 to 80% are fungally related. Same as the human body. If you kill off the beneficial organisms, the beneficial microbes, fungus infection ensues. When people take antibiotics, they typically get fungal infections. Nature's no different. This is a slightly larger specimen of manzanita. If you look at the whole tree, it certainly does not look healthy because it's not healthy. You see it's not flowering. This plant is horrifically affected from the excessive UV, from the bioavailable metals in the rain, which kill soil microbes, has an effect on the root systems. This is a main source of food for forest animals. These flowers produce berries. Turkeys, bear, and many other species rely on this as a food source. They have no food. When this is the most a plant can produce, a couple small pods of flowers, there's nothing for the animals to eat. This is happening throughout the forest, steep decline, even with normally very hardy specimens like this manzanita. And here's more species of manzanita. This is a silverleaf manzanita. You see smaller plants in front with the very discolored leaves. That's fungal infection. As the bioavailable metals are killing soil microbes, changing soil pHs, changing forest soil compositions, it has a horrific domino effect. Although Forest Service and USDA foresters will not admit to this implosion that's happening in the forest, it's absolutely happening. And you see even in the background, even whole specimens, mature specimens of manzanita that flash out stone dead black from fungal infection. So this mature species, stone dead, the fungal ailment that is affecting so many of the silverleaf manzanita, this tree has succumbed to it. But if you look a little bit past, here's a tree that has not yet completely succumbed to this, still putting out some flowers, but much less crown on this tree. All the trees have much less crown than they had only a few years ago. They can't take the excessive UV, so their foliage starts to decrease, dead branches start to appear, they can't leaf as well, they can't flower as well. They're simply trying to survive the exposure to the excessive UV. So some plants are stronger than others, some individual organisms stronger than others, but we're seeing a huge percentage flash out stone dead throughout the forest. This is another larger specimen of black oak. It's mid-February, it's already leafing out. It's 2 months ahead of when it should be leafing out. The leaves last fall stayed on the trees, and in late November, December, when a certain series of rains comes, we've seen this the last 4 years, all the leaves on the deciduous trees wad up dead, but still hang on the tree. As you see lower down on this tree, that's what we have. It appears to us as if some sort of defoliant is included in the aerosol spray mix, and we know fruit farmers have been using this type of method to cause their orchards to go dormant for years. This is because the temperatures have been rising so progressively. 5 years ago, we saw the deciduous trees still fully leafed with green leaves going clear into January. Now we see fully foliated native oak trees with stone dead leaves that hang on the trees all winter long. And as you see with this tree, the new leaves are coming out 2 months early, while dead leaves are still hanging on the tree and have been all winter. You can see the topography in the background. It's quite steep here, and we're northeast of Redding, California. So even in these drought years, we still have what would be considered by most standards a fairly high degree of rainfall because of orographic enhancement. We're a couple thousand feet higher than Redding, and the way the storms usually move up the Central Valley, it wrings the moisture out when it hits this higher topography. It's called orographic enhancement. So for these manzanita trees to be dying, the drought certainly is an effect, but not the key effect, because manzanita can survive in conditions with a third the rainfall we're getting even now here in the drought-stricken years. We've had about 40 inches in this location so far this year. But now we're seeing, because the storms are not the normal low-pressure counterclockwise circulation that we've historically seen, and we know the aerosolization is going on because the lab tests prove this. The precipitation is full of the same toxic metals listed in geoengineering patents. So we're not seeing the same orographic effect that we would normally have historically seen, where in this location we get about 2.25 times the rain Redding gets. If Redding, California gets 33 inches, we get about 70 here. We don't see that discrepancy anymore. We get maybe 40 or 50% more. So the aerosolization has an effect on the rain. But with the plants, the organisms, the trees, we know in these locations here, I've been here with USDA soil scientists testing soil pHs. We have the USDA background studies, so we have a solid baseline. And we know the soil pHs here in this region have changed 10 to 12 times toward alkaline in the last 10 years. Those are astounding changes. The effect on the organisms is clear. Again, not only do we have the pH changes, but we have the microorganisms that are being killed from the bioavailable metals. We know the effect of the bioavailable metals on the root systems. Within the organisms, it causes them to stop nutrient uptake, so they start to die a slow death. We know we have excessive UV now. Again, the forest ecosystem is imploding. The lack of wildlife here is very evident. It's virtually silent here in a forest that was thriving only 10 years ago. So again, the geoengineering assault from every direction is completely thwarting the web of life here in the boreal forests of Northern California. This is a native black oak. This is a mixed hardwood and conifer forest that we're in right now. This tree, the Cambrian layer has been completely fried off the tree from the base of the trunk to the tips. All the branches that are exposed to the south-southwest side, the Cambrian layer is virtually fried off the tree. This was one of the most canopied areas in this particular canyon, and now it's an open canopy. The sun comes right through, the trees are dropping their foliage, and they're just flashing out dead. You see the tree in the foreground, that's a large Doug fir just flashed out dead. Again, the ones around it are losing foliage. That fir is in the process of dying, it's thinning out, dropping needles. Branches are being let go. As you look at the fir on the right as well, you see his branches are gnarling. You see some dead branches sticking out. Foliage is very thin. Go to the far right tree, you see another dead branch sticking out of him. He's in the process of dying. All these trees are dying in one of the most shaded, sheltered, wet areas in the canyons north of Redding and east of Lake Shasta. Firs are dying all over Shasta County, Siskiyou County. The agencies are not talking about it. They're not admitting to it. Their job is to hide it. The typical cobweb-like aerosol, wispy clouds. People mistake this for some sort of natural cloud. They're absolutely not. So we live under a toxic canopy. Everything that they spray in the atmosphere comes down. These trees that we see the tops of here are all dying, and these trees have their feet in the water. We're near the stream right now, so you see the tops are all dying from the excessive UV, and we know some of the trees that get the most water are dying the fastest because they're also getting the most toxins, where the toxic materials accumulate in the drainage areas.
And I'll just pause because I want to touch on what he's saying, because I personally don't think you know, it could be the UV light, but like he said, what goes up comes down, and we do live under a toxic canopy, and all these metals they're spraying not only go into the water and then the roots suck them up. If you put all this metal particulates that are going on the tree, right? What happens when you put aluminum in a microwave? Right? So think about all the aluminum that is falling from the sky. Excuse me, is falling from the sky and getting on the trees, the tree trunks. It's getting in the water, the plants, or it's raining down or from the streams. Excuse me, you know, when I try to speak, these hiccups. And the trees are intaking all these toxins and metals. So I think of it as the sun baking on these metals. The metals are heating up the trees and drying them out even more. If you put metal in the sun, it gets very hot. Well, that's what's going to happen when these metal particulates build up on the trees. And also, it's poison. And third of all, you know, when they use their frequency weapons or microwave weapons, which is 5G's microwaves, these towers too, you know, I think about the metal in microwaves, aluminum in microwaves, what happens, you know, and forest fires, you know, with these metal particulates everywhere. I mean, it'll ignite a forest like nothing, you know. And not just that, it's just sad. It's sad. You know, what are we gonna do about this? We can stop it. People just need to get off their lazy butts. And I'm not downing anyone. Don't ever take it as me downing anyone. I might be harsh because we need to do something now. Stop waiting for someone to fall out the sky and save us, because we're the power. We are the power. The more we sit back and the more people wait for something to come save you when we could save ourselves, the worse it's going to get, people. Let's go.
It's extremely alarming to see the decline at the rate we're seeing it here in the forest. We are now being told that the climate engineers want to start using the terms albedo enhancement or cloud reflectivity enhancement. They don't want to use the term geoengineering any longer because people are waking up to that term. It seems that the effort to try to deceive and confuse the population as to what's going on in the skies above their heads continues, and the whole of academia is helping to hide what can only be described as crimes against humanity, crimes against nature, not just ecocide or genocide, but omnicide, the destruction of all life on Earth. And that's literally what's happening from these programs. Whatever the intent, the result is the same. And for us on the ground, it amounts to biological warfare as well. We know we are breathing what they are spraying. And the fact that they don't point that out should be alarming to a population that is being exposed to what they're spraying.
Hopefully this video will open people's eyes for people who don't know. The facts are outside your door. All you have to do is walk outside, look up, and the evidence is right there in front of your eyes. The evidence is in the trees, everywhere. Because if I have evidence here and I could see it where I'm living in Connecticut, and this guy sees it on the West Coast, it doesn't matter where you are on this plane of existence. They're spraying this stuff everywhere. They're poisoning everything. So hopefully we can come together as a collective and do something about it, man. You are the power. Don't let anything or anyone tell you any different. You are the power. Your voice is the power. Your actions is the power. We've become so spoiled in this society and system, depending on others to come save us when we could save ourselves. Peace out, everyone. Thank you for watching.